Hello, everybody. The name of our story today is Too Hot to Handle. I'm going to read the story to you once and then again a second time with explanations of the vocabulary and the language. Okay, let's go. This is Let's Learn English Through Stories, and I'm Tim Bryant, your English teacher. David was on his first date with Sofia, the girl he really liked. They went to a small and intimate Mexican restaurant. When the waiter asked if he wanted medium or hot salsa, he smiled and said, "Hot, please." How hot could it be? It's not my first rodeo, he thought to himself. A few minutes later, he took a big bite of his taco. Suddenly, his mouth was on fire. His tongue burned. His eyes watered. But he had to play it cool. He couldn't look ridiculous in front of his date. Sophie smiled. "Is it good?" David forced a smile. "Delicious, just very flavorful," he said, his voice cracking. She kept talking, but David couldn't focus. His face felt hot, and sweat started to drip from his forehead. He grabbed his napkin and casually wiped it away. "Think fast, David." He needed to stop the burn. He took a big sip of his drink. But oh no, it was soda. The bubbles and the contrast only made it worse and added oil to the fire. Then he saw the small bowl of guacamole. Perfect. He quickly scooped a big spoonful into his mouth. The cool, creamy avocado saved him. Finally, relief. Sofia raised an eyebrow. "You really like guacamole, huh?" David nodded. "Yeah, just balancing out the flavors." She laughed, leaning in a little. "Good to know. Maybe next time we should try something even hotter." David swallowed hard, feeling his face heat up again. Okay, let's look at the vocabulary. David was on his first date with Sofia, a girl he really liked. On a date, we say to go on a date. A date is when two people go out together for a romantic meeting. David and Sofia go on a date. They went to a small and intimate Mexican restaurant. When the waiter asked if he wanted medium or hot salsa, he said, "Hot, please." This is how spicy the chili of the Mexican salsa is. How hot could it be? We use could to show that something is possible but not certain. It could be hot, but how hot? It's not my first rodeo. This is an expression to say that it's not the first time to do or experience something. This is an expression from the American West of cowboys and rodeo. He thought to himself. This is a reflexive verb for something you do to yourself with the pronoun himself, for he. He thought to himself. A few minutes later, he took a big bite of his taco. Suddenly his mouth was on fire. This is a metaphor or an exaggeration. His mouth was burning. It was on fire. His tongue burned. His eyes watered. But he had to play it cool. To play it cool is also an expression to act calm and relaxed. He couldn't look ridiculous in front of his date. To look ridiculous, to seem ridiculous in front of his date. Sofia is his date. They are on a date. Sofia smiled. "Is it good?" David forced a smile. So forced a smile, faked a smile. Delicious, just very flavorful. All right, so flavorful, full of flavor,
Full is a suffix. It means full of, with a lot of. For example, thoughtful, full of thought. Hopeful, full of hope. And flavorful, full of flavor. He said his voice cracking. The sound of his voice changing due to the heat of the taco. Voices crack because of stress or emotion. So cracking is an adjective here. His voice, noun, cracking. She kept talking, but David couldn't focus. He could not concentrate or listen well. His face felt hot, and sweat started to drip from his forehead. Sweat dripped from his forehead. So to drip, like a water drips from a tap, sweat can drip from the forehead. He grabbed his napkin and casually wiped it away. Grabbed, the past simple of to grab, to take something aggressively, and casually wiped it away. So casually, in a relaxed way. Adverb describing the verb wiped, casually wiped it away. Think fast, David. He needed to stop the burn. He took a big sip of his drink. But oh no, it was soda. A sip is an intake of liquid. A sip of his drink. The bubbles and the contrast only made it worse. So made it worse. Past simple of make. Made it worse. The bubbles of the sparkling drink and the contrast of the cold with the hot spicy sauce made things worse. Then he saw the small bowl of guacamole. Perfect. He quickly scooped a big spoonful into his mouth. Scooped, past simple of scoop. Scooped, to pick up and move something. The cool, creamy avocado sauce saved him. Finally, relief to feel better. Sofia raised an eyebrow. You really like guacamole, huh? To raise an eyebrow is an expression for showing surprise. It can be literal or a metaphor also. She raised an eyebrow, literally here. She was surprised. Or it can be a metaphor. The news raised eyebrows in Europe. People were surprised by the news. David nodded. Yeah, just balancing out the flavors. Balancing out is a phrasal verb, making the flavors equal. Balancing out. She laughed, leaning in a little. This is a prepositional verb. She is physically leaning or moving forward towards David. Leaning in. She is leaning in. To lean in can also be a phrasal verb. To lean into something. Making music is hard. You have to lean into it. To move towards it with energy. To lean into something. Good to know. Maybe next time we should try something even hotter. David swallowed hard, feeling his face heat up again. So he swallows hard from surprise, feeling, being aware his face was getting hotter again, to heat up. Phrasal verb. David is surprised. Okay, everybody. Now I want you to go back to the beginning of the video and watching and listening for a third time. This will help your understanding and English very much. Okay, and that is all from us for today.
Thank you for watching and listening, and please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.